It's like this little dirty little bass line.
I don't fucking care. Can we move on to a new segment, please?
Welcome to Just Two Fans, a sports show about sports,
Obviously.
about life,
Because sports are life.
and about just whatever the hell we feel like talking about. So, let's go.
What is up, everybody?
What's good, y'all?
I'm Jay Freelater. That's Eli Johnson. And we are joined, as always, by super producer Cameron. Say hi, Cameron.
Hi, Cameron.
This is a Just Two Fans podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us, as always. How you guys doing?
I got a cold. That kind of sucks.
It's that time of the year.
Yeah, man.
I'm trying real hard this week to avoid any of that crap because I'm going to Jamaica on Saturday.
Oh, shoot. That's right.
Yeah.
We're doing no epi next week?
You guys can do an epi.
We got to do a post-conference championships epi.
We do have to do a post-conference championships epi. Maybe we can get Chris to actually join us.
Yeah. It'll be post-conference championships, post-final race of F1 season.
Post-final.
Oh, yeah, we got to do an epi.
Yeah.
Post-final CFP rankings.
Yeah. Like, I think it's definitely.
Well, I mean, if we were to do a bye week, that's the week because there's only one game the following week.
So it'd just be like a quick like rundown of the weekend, and then that's it.
Yeah, and then we'll do a bowl preview when I'm back.
Yeah. I think that's probably the deal.
Probably the move.
Probably the move. Maybe I'll tune in live and give you guys shit from Jamaica.
For us.
Yeah, I'm sure Kate would love that.
It's 2 hours ahead, so like,
Yeah, it's gonna be so
if
late.
you guys start at 11 p.m. Jamaica time, she'll be asleep, and I'll just have my headphones in. It'll be fine.
All right.
Yep. Cool. Let's get into stuff because we got things to talk about. We're going to start with Trackside with Cameron. Attaboy.
Nice.
Love that button. So yeah, we had the penultimate race of the season at Qatar last weekend. Not terribly exciting.
It was shitty.
It turns out that George can't hold a pole position through the first corner. Now, Jamie, you did bring up a point. We were talking about this earlier this week, how it is shitty that some tracks taking second in qualifying will set you up for that whole shot on that first turn, because front left is always P1, regardless of track, first turn, whatever. And the second position gave you the inside line on this first corner at Qatar, and that it was all Max's.
Yeah, I mean, like, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense that P2 should have a better racing line into the first curve than P1. Just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, there's a handful of tracks like that. And usually it's someone goes, oh, P2. All right, I'll line up at an angle and we'll shoot right towards one and squeeze them over and then take a hard right. But so that's kind of how it started. Max finished on top, took another W with Charles in second and Oscar in third. You guys both watched the race, yes?
Yep.
At some point.
I don't recall.
All right. Well, it's called Trackside with Cam, so that's fair.
Yeah.
I watched it.
There was a lot of controversy with the stewards at this race.
They sucked.
We've got a new racing president, and they were bad. They just made no calls at all for some things. So to paint a picture, about halfway through or maybe lap 40 or lap 35, Alex Albon lost a wing mirror on the front straight, or the start-finish straight, and it flew off, landed outside of the racing line. So if you weren't racing anybody or trying to pass, you wouldn't hit it. But they let it sit there for 5 laps. No VSC, no full safety car to pull it off. And we were just waiting until someone hit it. and Valtteri Bottas and his Sauber ran straight down the middle of it and blew that bitch to 1,000 pieces. And then you've got glass and carbon fiber all over the entire track, and into the pit exit. And the very next group of cars were Lewis and Carlos, and they both got punctures. Like,
Jesus.
it was the most
Unreal.
obvious scenario to happen with that mirror out there, that someone was going to hit it.
That's just like negligent at that point.
Yeah.
Oh, it's totally negligent. The announcers, like during the race, were like, "What is happening?"
Yeah, and were you listening? Did you watch the international?
I was watching the ESPN broadcast.
Gotcha. So, Jenson Button was like, "This is ridiculous. Like they should at least hit a VSC so that they slow down. It gives you a couple of seconds for someone to jump off of the pit road barrier, just run out, grab it, and come back."
That's wild.
Unreal.
And so that dropped. I think at that point there were 15 cars still out on the race. We had a lot of DNFs, and Lewis went from like 6th down to 15th when he had to get a new tire. And that car was struggling this weekend anyways. And so he crawled back up to 12th, but not great.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Pretty shitty.
Yeah, pretty shitty.
Although president of racing is a pretty dope title.
Yeah, if he wants to keep it though, he's got to do something.
It's a dope title that he shouldn't have.
The pundits and some of the folks on like Sky F1 or in Sky Sports were talking about how the stewards are just the stewards for that race at that track because they're local. There is no traveling group of stewards that make these calls. It's not a paid position by the FIA. They aren't, excessively trained.
That seems really dumb.
And
so it's kind of like college football reffing, where like it's paid by the conferences.
Yeah, but in where you just go pick up people that have a striped shirt.
Yeah,
like if that were the case, it's not like in pro football where you get the cream of the crop for the Super Bowl, or you know who the best is, or you put this time and training and an effort and experience into building up the stewards. So I think that that's something that they might have to address. And if we get more issues like this, they're going to need to fix it in some way. With this race, Ferrari is firmly in second in the constructors, behind McLaren by 31 points. McLaren only dropped 3 points to them this last weekend, and Ferrari could beat them. They just have to get both racers ahead of them. They gotta do some team racing to finish up there. But so
they're gonna have to pretty much go 1-2.
Yeah, they're gonna have to finish pretty high, and also hope that McLaren doesn't finish like 3-4. So we'll have to see. I think anything's possible. That'll be the storyline for this race, right? Now that Max has won the title, is how those two teams do, which is fun because then you're watching 4 cars and you don't really care about the Red Bull one at the front. Which we did a whole 2 seasons of that. So I mean, one race is not that bad.
True.
Really quickly, in some other news, next weekend we have the final race in Abu Dhabi, right?
Yep.
I had it up and then I completely deleted it. It's Lewis's last race with Mercedes after a long tenure and a lot of drivers' championships. It'll be kind of the changing of the guard, like with all the changes happening and people leaving, and Lewis moving to Ferrari next year. I am excited for what he's got coming and what Ferrari can do, and how it looks like they've been very receptive. But we'll just have to see what that yields. It'd be great to see Lewis get an 8th world championship with Ferrari.
Those red ponies are going to be something next year, man.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they've figured it out. They figured out their leadership a little bit. They had some issues this past weekend. It was mostly with Carlos, so don't know how much of those he caused, but we'll see what happens. He was an absolute menace on the radio.
He was a total menace.
I want to come in. I want to come in. No, stay out. Okay, you can come in. No, I'm staying out. Like just absolute buffoonery while it was there. So yeah, we'll see kind of what happens. Again, Carlos is going to Williams. It's looking very likely that Checo's losing his seat after this season. And not so much going down to VCARB, just gonna be gone. He has had a very, very bad showing. I saw someone posted some videos on TikTok, and it was of when he was racing hard with Lewis back in 2021 to get Max like up because it was the last race and they had to race for the championship. That was probably the last time he raced that well. Was 3 years ago. He has not raced that intensely and with that kind of commitment since then. And it seems like Red Bull's like, nah. Like,
I mean, when you look at the standings and you've got Max winning the whole thing and Sergio down in 8th, that's a problem.
And that's one of his best finishes recently.
I mean, he finished 2nd last year.
No, not in like. Oh, I thought you were talking about this.
I was talking driver standings. I don't know where he finished last race.
So, yeah. So that seat could be open up. Probably going to go to Liam or Yuki. If they snub Yuki, that would be something.
That would be something.
But they've got, one more year with Honda. So maybe they put Yuki in there because that's kind of been a big driver for Honda as well, to have that connection. As things kind of heat up while we get towards the end of the season, people are looking at what the future is going to hold. Cadillac's definitely been the biggest headline as far as the sport's really concerned. It's with a big change, getting an 11th team on the grid. There's a lot of talk out there, and I love it because a lot of people would want to see Danny Rick come back, race for Cadillac, get like maybe a 2-3 year seat. He's great for PR. He's got name recognition. He's practically American, and he has that experience. He's won races, and he's been with teams that can consistently win races. He would be a great jumpstart for a couple of years to bring that kind of energy to a new team, and then it gives him the chance to go out on his own terms. Hey, you've got, because the past 2 contracts he has had, he's been snubbed, just cast aside, both by McLaren and then VCARB. And it gives him a chance. Here's your last 2 years. We have an end date. You get every race. Let's go out there and have some fun. Race in Vegas again.
That would be sick.
So that's kind of what's up. With this race coming up, I don't know who's gonna win. Again, doing this before we even have a practice session, just as I start paying more and more attention, is hard to forecast. But I'd like to see Lando grab another W. I don't think that he's going to do it. I would love to see Lewis win his last race with Mercedes.
That would be dope.
That'd be so good for him and Bono. Like to just go out on top as driver and race engineer with a win.
I'm rooting for that. That's what I want. I want a Lewis win.
Yeah, like I'm all heart pick on this
happen,
one. I'm all heart pick on this one.
Yeah,
I'm
all heart pick.
I'm there. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
I'm in.
All right, gents. Job, Cameron. That's trackside.
Good trackside.
Let's get into football because there's things and stuff to talk about.
Wow.
Things and stuff. The podcast on words.
Stuff.
We do speaking.
We do speak good.
Let's start with signing day, which was today. Dane Lanning is an absolute menace, dude. He's a fucking menace.
I don't know how he does it, dude. He's a freaking crazy man.
He's a wizard on signing day. It's insane.
For real.
The Ducks have the number 4 class according to 24/7. If you're looking at Rivals, they have the number 1 class. If you're looking at ESPN, they have the number 2 class. Good shit from Dan Lanning and the Ducks. I pay more attention to 24/7 for the most part. They got 4 5 stars, 15 4 stars, and 2 3 stars.
I mean, some huge flips.
Huge flips.
Huge flips. I mean, you talk about Naeem Offord. I probably butchered the shit out of that, but he is the 12th best player in the country, according to 24/7, second best corner in the country, and he was committed to Ohio State. So not
For
only
9 months,
good, but you flipped a guy that was in conference.
yeah,
Flipped
he was
him like a
committed to
pancake.
Ohio State for 9 months.
And on the other side of him, you have the 29th best player in the country, the 5th best corner, and best player in the state of Maryland, and Brandon Finney, also at cornerback, 5 stars.
Okay, so here's another thing is, there were like the Naeem Offord was like there was like rumors of him flipping. DeCorian Moore has been recruiting on his side here, but like there were rumors of a couple guys flipping from Oregon to like Florida. One of the wide receivers,
Dallas Wilson.
Dallas Wilson is rumored to like maybe flip to Florida. Nope, kept them all.
There was a Fong bomb, dude. Steve Wiltfong said Dallas Wilson's going to Florida this morning.
Yeah. Nope.
And Steve Wiltfong doesn't miss. For those who don't follow recruiting, Steve Wiltfong's like the one that you pay attention to in terms of crystal balls and stuff. When he predicts that somebody's going somewhere, it's pretty much right. So I saw that this morning. Yep. I was like, man, that sucks. We lost a 5-star receiver. Luckily, our receiver room's deep. And then I saw he signed. I was like, oh, my God, dude, Dan Lanning is a freak of nature.
I don't know what he's doing. Yeah, let's see. 3 predictions here. Yeah, the Fong bomb is a common thing in recruiting circles. I don't see a Fong bomb on here. A Loy bomb, but he's pretty accurate, too. He's got 92.
I think it was on Twitter. I don't know if it was official. Hold on one second. It's going to take me a while to sift through this.
It doesn't really matter. I like these guys, what he's getting, like these players he's getting right now. This is how you win championships, right? Like if you look at the last, 20 teams to win a national championship, all of them have good recruiting classes.
Oh, it's the blue chip ratio, right? So blue chip ratio, again, for those who don't know, that's the percentage of your team that is 4 or 5-star recruits. Right, doesn't necessarily equate to production, but the better your recruiting classes are, the better production is. You're going to have duds. You're going to have guys that don't live up to the hype. But by and large, if you have 4 and 5-star players, you're going to win football games.
Turns out you need talent to win.
Right. And if you look at Oregon's average star rating on any of these platforms, they have the best class per capita on all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So of the number, like they have the lowest number of commits out of this group of the top 10. They only have 21. Everybody else has 22 or more. But their average rating is the highest in the country.
Yeah.
That's fucking nuts. I remember back when Chip Kelly signed, I forget what class it was. I'm going to go back and look. I'm going to say it was the 2011 class.
So, and it was like the number 12 class in the country.
Number 12 class in the country right here. 1 5-star, 8 4 stars,
Who's
14
the 5-star
3
that year?
stars. The 5s that was DeAnthony, wasn't it?
No, DeAnthony was before that, wasn't he?
It was DeAnthony.
Okay.
But that was the number 12 class, and we were like freaking out. We're like, we got a 5-star, and how many 4 stars? 8 of them. This is insane. And now we're talking about the number 4 class in the country with 4 or 5 stars, depending on what service you look at. And like 3 stars, it's like, that was nice. We added a couple 3 stars to this roster.
not to mention that there is another 4-star tight end who is predicted to flip to Oregon from Michigan, Andrew Olish. So there's another 4-star in there. I'm gonna add him in right now and see where we get. Andrew Olish. Add him in. Calculate. 305.4 on 24/7.
That would put him at number 2.
Yeah.
That would leapfrog Oregon. Oregon would pass Georgia and Alabama in recruiting. Just let that sink in for a fucking second.
Mm-hmm.
That is insane.
It's how you win, man. It's how you win championships.
You have to have talent, right? There's outliers, right? Like TCU 2 years ago.
But they didn't win at all.
Right, they didn't. Oregon 2010 was an outlier. They didn't win at all. Obviously, we know that, right? There's outliers, but if you want to win and win consistently and not just have some magical season, you have to have talent. And Dan Lanning, I don't know what that man does.
I think it has to do with him being like young and energetic and like relatable, right? Like he's just like a pretty relatable dude.
Did you see Tez's interview after the game?
Yes.
Friday. He said, coaches get us ready and everything. He's crazy, but he knows what he's doing. It's like everybody knows the dude's just like a psychopath, in the best way possible.
Does he sleep? Probably not. Okay, so look at the last here's I'm just gonna go down the championship list. Tell me when we get to a team that doesn't have insane recruiting classes most years. Michigan, Georgia, Alabama, LSU, Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State, Florida State, Alabama twice, Auburn, Alabama, Florida, LSU, Florida, Texas, USC. Maybe not so much anymore, but in the early 2000s, they were the number one recruiting.
They had the most talent on that roster.
Yeah. LSU, USC, Ohio State, Miami in 2001.
Maybe the best football team ever.
Yeah.
Dude, that
Oklahoma
team was
in 2000, Florida State, Tennessee, Michigan, Nebraska, Florida, Nebraska. Like all these teams.
Yeah.
They had massive
amounts
the best
of players.
You know, the last one to win it without like an insane blue chip is probably 1991 Washington, and that's a half one.
And before that, it was probably 1990 Colorado, but that 1990 Colorado team was also stacked.
Or that Georgia Tech that they split with.
Mm-hmm.
But that Colorado team had like 15 NFL players on it.
Yeah.
Like they were stacked.
BYU 1984, but that's probably in the days of
they were also probably stacked.
Yeah, well, oh God, why can't I think of his name right now?
The coach?
Famous BYU quarterback. Why can't
Oh. I know who you're
Robbie Bosco?
No, Steve Young. God damn it. How could I not think of that? That might have been the days when they had Steve Young. Like, would be like I mean, we're talking you have to have insane amounts of talents to win in football. That's why the SEC wins it most years, because they have the top recruiting classes every year because they make great football players in the South.
Yep. I mean, you look at where Oregon got these guys.
Yeah.
5-star from Florida, 5-star from Alabama, 5-star from Texas, 5-star from Maryland. That's an outlier. 4-star Texas, 4-star Ohio, 4-star Florida, Hawaii. There's one 4-star from Oregon who was committed to Washington, flipped to Oregon. 4-star from Nevada, 4-star California, Illinois, Florida, California, Arizona, Washington.
Now, really quickly, you skated past, and I think it was an oversight, but I have heard that Maryland does crab cakes and football. So they are a powerhouse of football recruiting talent. I've heard it. I think I saw it in a documentary.
Weird documentary.
Dude, there were some turns I was not expecting.
What documentary is this?
It was one about a full season of weddings in the DC metro area.
Yeah, like two guys really like kind of were up against it.
Yeah, the two lawyers really fighting for their lives out there.
Well, no, they weren't lawyers. They were.
I gotcha.
There it is.
There he is. Now he's on. That's a genuine question.
Honestly, I've seen that movie a lot. I didn't know it was in Maryland.
Yeah, that's
where they.
I'm sure they said it. Yeah. I'm sure.
No, well, I mean, it's in DC because remember he's like sitting.
Oh yeah.
At the Memorial Steps.
Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right.
What documentary was that? He asked genuinely.
I was very lost. Got it though. I'm there. We're there. Yeah, man. I'm stoked for the future of this program. We've been on Dan Lanning for a while, right? Just doesn't look like he's going to slow down ever. I don't think he knows how to.
I don't think he's going to leave. I think
if he didn't leave for the Alabama job, I just don't see it. I really don't.
I mean, I think he really believes in what Oregon has to offer. Obviously, recruiting's not an issue.
I also think like he's the kind of guy that Oregon gave me my first real shot.
Yeah.
Well, and in his third year, this is what he's built. Fourth year looks great. Like he can build this program.
He has everything
he wants it.
He has everything he would need to succeed. He has a place where he likes his kids growing up. Right. And he's made a point to say that pretty much any time this comes up, that I'm not moving my family again. We've moved 9 times. I'm not doing it again.
Yeah.
Unless they kick me out, which no, we're not kicking him out.
If anything, he's getting extension this year.
Oh yeah.
Another one.
Yeah. I mean, he's insane, man. Just it's exciting stuff.
I mean, to go undefeated in your third year as a head coach
in a new conference,
in a new,
so you're playing against teams that you're not used to facing.
Yeah,
that's with nuts in itself.
Grueling road trips. Like,
yeah.
I mean, they lucked out on the road trip front, honestly. Like
where they had to go and win. Yeah,
they had it better than some of the West Coast teams, but like still nuts. What he was, it's nuts. It's fun. It's not. I mean,
one trip is more grueling travel than any SEC team does.
No doubt about it.
For an entire season,
no doubt. And they had to play one more conference game.
The SEC.
Hate the SEC. Fully despise.
Just get away with so much bullshit.
Yep. Good stuff. Ducks recruiting on a roll. Dan Lanning probably smoking a cigar right now.
You know who else had a really good day is Michigan recruiting.
Yes,
they flipped a couple guys. They had flipped a guy from Miami, I think. They from Colorado too. I think they jumped like 8 spots today in recruiting ranking. Like they had a good day today. Although they might lose one of their tight ends here to Oregon.
Yep. I mean
they got the number 1 overall recruit because of Dave Portnoy and the guy, the owner of Oracle. What's his name? Steve Ellison.
Yeah. His wife, technically, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Nuts. And I'm seeing it all over the place. I saw the funniest. Man, Ohio State fans are just having a rough go of it.
Dude, they are down bad right now.
I mean, they have the 5th best class. It's not like it's a bad class. But I saw somebody tweet. I don't have it up. I wish I had it up. But it was something about how the Ducks got like 3 of the top 10 DBs in this class. Mm-hmm. And the guy was like, what did he say? Something about like buying players and not developing them. When's the last time Oregon had a successful DB in the NFL? And the comments just fucking lit him up. Dude, Oregon, other than like maybe Georgia and Alabama, Oregon probably has the most DBs in the NFL in the last decade.
Dude, yeah. Or no, Oklahoma has a shitload, I think.
That's probably
like randomly. There's like one team that's there's not that great, but has like insane DBs.
Like Oregon's just been like a rotating cycle of DBs going to the NFL. That's all they do.
Yeah, that's like most of the players. The funny thing to me is like Oregon is still known as like an offense first team, and Oregon's NFL players are almost exclusively defenders, like contributors.
Yep.
Almost exclusively defense. Like there's a couple guys on offense, not a lot. For being like offensive teams and like softer finesse or whatever, like and like having no defense.
A lot more O-line and QBs now than there used to be.
True.
A
lot more
still,
O-line.
Yeah.
But like it's still large. It's like still heavily in favor of defense.
Yeah. Real quick, speaking of the Ducks and their team and players, I do not understand what the Big Ten coaches were thinking with the all-conference team. You guys did you guys see this at all?
No, I didn't look.
I saw that no one got voted by the coaches.
Do you want to take a stab at how many? This is the best defense in the conference, by the way. Do you want to take a stab at how many first-team defenders we have?
I mean, it's always like one or two.
It's 0.
0?
0.
Okay.
No Oregon defenders on the first-team all-conference. There is 2 on the second team.
Okay. I mean, I'm not surprised. The Big Ten is like very.
Oregon's undefeated, has beat Ohio State. All this stuff. They have 2 first-team all-conference total.
The fuck is Jabbar Muhammad not on this list?
It's insane.
How the fuck is Jabbar Muhammad? There's no way there are. How many defensive backs are on here? 12?
6. Well, they usually do 2 corners, and no, that's not true. 12.
They have 12 defensive backs on here. There's no way I would take 12 defensive backs over Jabbar Muhammad. Not a chance.
Nope.
Like, yeah, sure, Caleb Downs.
I just thought it was hilarious.
But like, yeah, no, that's dumb. I said Dylan Gabriel got first team. He did. That's good for him.
He did.
Jordan James getting a love at the running back position, which is fair. I think Caleb Johnson kind of earned himself that first team.
Yeah, Tez got second team.
Although Monangai, I don't know. Seems weird that he's over Jordan James.
It's weird.
It's fine. It's fine. He's good. Receiver Ty Felton, no. Sorry. Over Tez, not a chance.
Nope.
No way. We saw what happened to Oregon when Tez was out, right?
Yeah. And we saw what happened when he came back.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to in a minute. But it's pretty funny. Really. And Jordan Birch, he was out for quite a few games, so
yeah,
I understand that he's third team. If he played all year, first team, no question. Mateo should be first team.
Mateo should absolutely be first team.
Dude was a fucking menace.
Yeah. Okay, there he is. Cool. I was going to say Bryce Betcher deserves something.
Bryce Betcher, I mean, you talk about a guy that you want to model your playing after. Jeez. That dude just plays every fucking snap with his hair on fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I just thought it was hilarious. Like, the best defense in the conference has no first team all conference players.
Wait, is that okay? So that's by the coaches. Is the media any better?
Media, yeah.
Okay, Mateo's first team. But that's the only first team. But they give Derek Harmon a nod, Jordan Birch a nod, Bryce Betcher a nod, Jabbar Muhammad. Yeah,
so it's better. It's not like It's still not.
Look, I could take like some of those things I'm like fine with, right? Like I'm okay with Betcher not getting first team. He had a stretch of like 3 or 4 games where he's pretty much non-existent, but he's also come in fully clutch in like really big moments
numerous times. Yeah.
So I mean, like we probably have a little bit higher of opinion of him just because we notice him when he's having insane monster games rather than his kind of pedestrian games. Derek Harmon, kind of the same way, right? Like his Michigan State game, obviously he was like fired up. He was insane. But like, he's been good. Jabbar Muhammad, I don't know how he's not. I don't know how he's not first team.
Coy Parrish, like, come on now.
Hey, he's good.
What are we doing?
D'Angelo Ponce is good. They're good players. But like,
I'll take Jabbar Muhammad over them any day.
Jabbar Muhammad's been insane this year.
Yep.
I don't know.
He did get cooked a few times.
Every player.
Literally every corner
got cooked like twice.
Every single corner gets cooked.
Yeah. Travis Hunter, who's one of the best corners in the country, got cooked, and people are still holding that against him. So,
which is insane. He got cooked one time all year.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just thought that was funny before we get into the results of the week. Just these all conference things and all that stuff is politics, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not surprised.
No, not at all. All right, let's get into the games. Good week for us this week. Nice little bounce back, if you will. Really good week for Cameron on the money line. Going 18-2.
Look at you, buddy.
That's a good week. Good for you, buddy. Eli and I both went 16-4. We flipped the script on him in the money line or in the spread. Eli and I both went 12-8. Cameron went 11-9.
Got hosed.
You got hosed. All right. Let's go through some of these games. We're going to start in the Big Ten as always. We'll talk about some of the other big ones. There were some big ones. So we'll talk about those, and then we'll get into our conference championship previews once we do our rankings and all that nonsense. So let's start with the Friday night Big Ten games. We had Minnesota at Wisconsin. This was no contest. Minnesota just rolled.
Yeah, Wisconsin being even a 2-point favorite was wild.
I mean, we all called it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially with how Minnesota's playing. That was a wild line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So good for the Gophers. Finished season 7-5. Really came on strong in the second half. We were all talking about how PJ Fleck might be on the hot seat there for a while. I think he has cooled that seat significantly.
He's saved his job for sure.
Yep.
For sure. It's not like it's not even warm right now.
Right. Nebraska at Iowa. This game was wild. Did you guys watch it?
I did not.
I watched highlights of it.
It was nuts, dude. Neither team could really do anything at all. And Iowa was essentially non-existent in the first half. And even in the second half, their offense just flashed back to 2023. They could not do a single damn thing except for the one run that Johnson had in the second half, which was ridiculous. Just breaking 15 tackles on his way to the end zone. And then Nebraska, in the most Nebraska way possible, had the ball with under a minute to go. They were ready to drive down and kick a game-winning field goal, and they fucking fumbled and turned the ball over, and Iowa kicked a 53-yard game-winning field goal as time expired.
There's the two things I want to talk about in this. One, the dichotomy of Iowa's offense this year has been nothing short of amazing.
It's staggering.
They are either one of the best offenses in the country or completely non-existent. It is so weird how inconsistent. I mean, the defense is still good, right? That offense showed life this year. I mean, they put up 50 in a week, right?
Put up 40 on Washington.
They put up 40 on Washington. And then like they go and they struggle to put up 13.
Yeah.
It's just insane. Like and this has been all season. Like it's been impossible to pick an Iowa game because you don't know if they're going to go for 40 or 10.
Oh yeah, no. You talk about a team that's a coin flip any week, it's Iowa.
Yeah. And then also college kickers. They make this game so much fun because they're either nailing 53-yarders or missing a 15-yard field goal. Point. Yeah, they're missing. Oh, dude. I love it so much.
As long as it's not us.
As long as it's not Oregon. Oregon tried a 54-yarder.
Wasn't it 57?
Yeah, it was deep.
And he almost had it.
I mean, like, thing missed the crossbar by inches. Anyways. Nuts. Let's get into the Saturday game. Started early with Michigan at Ohio State. Ryan Day. Oh, dude, I don't know. This one baffles me. It makes no sense. Michigan had no business winning this football game.
No, this is like a lot of Ohio State fans right now are saying this is the worst loss in Ohio State history. I can't disagree with them.
I can't either.
There's that Purdue loss in there when they just got absolutely crushed. Yeah. This is worse. With the history, with losing 3 in a row. Yeah.
And they have the best roster that money can buy, right? The $20 million roster that they have this year. And Michigan being down, right? Like Michigan was 6-5 coming into this game.
Yeah.
You can't fucking move the ball on no offense.
Still can't.
Still can't.
Still couldn't.
10 of their 13 points were on 5 yards of drives.
Yeah. They had 22 yards in the first half.
Yeah.
And 10 points.
Yeah, 10 points. So I've been hearing the discourse all week. Ryan Day, if you're Ohio State, you're the AD. Is he gone?
I think the only thing that saves Ryan Day's job at this point is a title.
Yeah. So here's where I stand with it. If the game ends and nothing happens, right? They just go back to the locker room, whatever. I'm saying he still has a job, right? You give him another year, whatever. The absolute ineptness he showed to lead his players, even remotely, who were brawling on the field.
He was just even standing there watching.
He, as a guy ran past him, he goes, "What's going on?"
Yeah, dude.
You can't do that. You as a coach, you have to be there, trying to wrangle. You have to show the leadership of being like, "Nope, get back to the locker room now."
He could not have looked more checked out from the season at that point.
He looked stunned.
He was just
checked out. He didn't
done.
He had no expression on his face.
Probably because he knows his job.
His players were getting fucking pepper sprayed.
Yeah, well, that was Michigan's players, but you didn't know that.
No, Ohio State players got pepper sprayed as well.
Both teams got pepper.
They just didn't stay on the sidelines and get good footage for the camera.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, no, he's that to me. If I'm the AD and I see that, you're gone.
Yeah,
I'm
you are
surprised
not the leader
he's not
that we
gone
need.
Yet.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think that he takes some of this out on Chip Kelly?
Coach Kelly's going to be a fall guy for sure.
And play calling was bad.
He should be.
Yeah, listen, play calling was bad.
We talked about this forever with Chip Kelly, right? What's his one thing? He is the
really
most stubborn piece of shit out there, right? He's just the most stubborn SOB on the planet. And it was clear that Ohio State wanted, for some stupid fucking reason, with the wide receiver core that they had, they wanted to show that they were more physical than Michigan. And they got out physical.
Yeah, turns out, no, you're not.
Turns out, throw the ball to your top 5 wide receivers.
And don't throw it to the other team in the process.
Yeah. But this was baffling to watch.
It was shocking.
They played outside of their strength on purpose. And they just were, again, Chip Kelly, just stubborn about it. Just like, I'm still
it
doing
was
it.
What, like
it
2
was
runs
20
up
They
the
ran it
middle?
on 3rd and 8.
It was
2 runs up the middle and
it
then a
was-
pick? Like,
it
what are
was
you
20
doing?
It was 2012 Oregon Stanford is what that was.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
was the same fucking game.
It's like Chip falls into this. It's not working, but I can't change.
I
It
make
will
it work.
eventually work.
No, he's like, this should be working. I'm gonna make it work.
We're gonna keep doing it. Yeah.
We're gonna. It's the opposite of run it till they stop you. It was like it's like run it till it
works.
actually works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was stunning to watch that game.
Yeah.
Made no sense.
Bad.
Bad.
But I'm here for it. Great.
Yeah.
Fuck
I gotta
Ohio
tell you,
State.
Gus calling that game, getting so hyped up after every pick. Like,
Oh,
I was,
dude,
I was
Ohio
living
State
for
pick.
it. Yeah.
I love Gus Johnson, man.
I
know
was
some
so
people
hyped
can't.
up for it.
He's
know
getting
some people can't
shredded
stand
right
him.
now on he's getting shredded because it's like, I saw one TikTok in particular that summed it up really nicely. It's the guy's like, and Michigan scores a touchdown. And he's like, oh my God, Jeremiah Smith catch for 5 yards over the middle. That is the greatest catch I have ever seen in college football. Like,
I will say, Gus Johnson's take about the flag planting, and we're going to get into this now, disagree fully.
oh, yeah, dude.
If you lose at home to your rival, walk to your fucking locker room. I don't care what the other team's doing.
Yeah,
Yep.
You're done.
They deserve to plant a flag on
Yeah,
your
here's
field.
the thing. You don't like it, beat them.
Win.
This is
It was like the Michigan
running up the score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like the Michigan running back that was getting interviewed after the game. Like, they had 60 minutes to fight us on the football field where they're supposed to, and they waited until after the game. Like, I don't care what the other team, like, I don't care if you felt disrespected. If you don't want to get disrespected, win the fucking football game.
It was funny going into that interview because Gus definitely built it up like it was Michigan's fault. And then the running back was like, nah, this is on Ohio State. Like, you guys,
They need to learn how to lose.
you need to learn how to lose. And I was like, oh, they did not expect him to say that quite as brazenly. But he was right. I mean, they both teams do it if you win at the other person's house. Like, and it's happened forever. It happens around the sport. Now, we did have
Here's the
a
thing,
lot more
I'm not
fights
even-
this weekend than
not
I
even-
think I've seen in a single weekend.
I'm not even so much against them trying to defend it, like to get the flag away from them. Like, that's sure, why not? Right? Like, you're trying to defend your home, whatever. Like, you should have done it during the game. But like, I'm not even against that necessarily. Like, yeah, you shouldn't be like throwing punches at each other, but like a little scuffle, a little pushing and shoving, the end of a rivalry game. It's what makes college football great, baby.
It
The
is
pure,
what makes college
unadulterated
football great.
hatred is
Yeah.
what we love about like this sport, right? Is like these crazy rivalries, the game, the Iron Bowl, like all these games that we love is because of pure unadulterated hatred, right? And it like stems to the players, and so I'm okay with like them have like a little scuffle at the end of the game, right? I don't think it's classless. I like they took it too far, sure, but like I'm okay with it, like in a lot of ways. I mean, I'm not okay with how Ryan Day handled it.
Yeah.
Right. I'm okay with how Sharon Moore did by going out there and like getting his players back.
Yeah,
I think
man.
it's like if you have your coaches out there, like look what Kenny Dillingham did. Perfect example. He's out there screaming at his players to get back, and guess what happened? Nothing, because he was out there showing them like, so like,
Real
I'm not even against Ohio State trying to defend their turf or whatever, like, with the flag planting. I'm not against it. Right. Like whatever. But like, there's a line that was crossed, obviously.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
like, it's part of college football. This is great.
If it had stopped when it first broke up, like if it had stopped there, it would have been a non-issue.
It's great. It's great.
Would have been great. Would have been a little,
It is great.
little kerfuffle,
Yeah. A
little hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
And then everyone goes to their locker rooms.
Nobody's trying to throw some chin music at a helmet.
And
like,
then all of a sudden you come back and you try to throw some chin music through the line of cops standing on the 50-yard line.
yeah.
What do you think's going to happen?
And
I
then
was surprised it took that long for people to get pepper sprayed.
Yeah, no joke. Here's the other thing. Like, so like like Gus saying that this is classless and shit. Like, these are this like media personnel who are saying that this shouldn't happen are the same people who are saying that NIL and the transfer portal are going to take out the soul of college football
and passion.
Yeah,
it's still there.
Ruin that
clearly
that ownership of
yeah.
the team.
It's clearly like Cameron just said. We saw more fights on Saturday than I've maybe ever seen in one weekend.
Yeah.
And if you looked at those teams for how many transfer like 1-year players they had, who were right up there on the front lines, like no, these kids care.
Yeah, the hatred's there.
They don't have to be here for 4 years.
No,
to care.
The passion is there, right?
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't really have a problem with either one.
It
went too far, but sometimes that happens.
Well, like you said, the problem's not with what happened; it's with Ryan Day's response specifically.
Yeah. That was terrible leadership by him.
Horrible leadership.
Horrible
leadership.
But Ohio State loses, paves pathway for Penn State to make it into the Big Ten championship. All they had to do was beat Maryland, and they did that emphatically.
Yeah, with an exclamation point.
44-7. This game was never close after the first quarter.
Nope.
Illinois Northwestern stayed kind of close. This was kind of a back and forth fun game out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
But Illinois pulled away at the end with a 10-point win. Good for me. Won my best bet.
That was my best bet.
That was your best bet. Won Eli his best bet.
A rocket with Illinois, baby.
My best bet.
A slap and a best bet. A couple best.
My best. Fuck Illinois. My best bet was Notre Dame at USC, and this game was also fucking nuts.
Well, you got a good beat, man, on the cover.
I did, because USC was mounting a charge there in the fourth, and threw 2 97+ yard pick sixes in back-to-back drives.
It's the most Lincoln Riley shit.
Oh my god, dude!
It's snatching the loss out of snatching defeat out of the jaws of victory, man. It is so fucking funny to me that he did that. That it was like that.
Yep.
Oh, it's so
hilarious.
Funny. You know who wouldn't have thrown those picks? Miller Moss.
Miller Moss would not.
I'm a Miller Moss stand now.
Because especially now that he's transferring.
And he's like kind of like he's like really shading USC.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like subtweeting USC. I love it.
Yeah.
He's so bitter. I love it. So he's now I think he's a USC hater now. So I'm on board with Miller Moss.
Yeah, he's in good company now.
Yeah.
We're with you,
to the
Miller
light
Moss.
side, my friend.
Yeah.
Indiana hosted Purdue, and that happened.
Schwacked them.
Yeah, Indiana took out some aggression on the field. They were throwing the ball in the fourth quarter to win 66-0.
They have to.
They have to.
Yeah.
Style points matter, man.
Yeah. It shouldn't matter in this regard because the other teams that they're competing against are 3 lost teams. But
did you guys see the handshake at the end of Penn State, Maryland?
Yeah.
I forgot to talk about this. So James Franklin, and I forget the name of the Maryland head coach.
Yes.
And the Maryland head coach was very upset about the last passing touchdown that Penn State threw because they were up by 30 points at the time. A, stop them, yes, but B, James Franklin's response in the press conference was perfect. It's like he doesn't like it, and that's fine, but like I have to do this.
Yeah.
In the playoff era, style points matter.
Yeah.
So we have to do everything we can to win by as much as we can. So he cannot like it, and I appreciate that, but my job's to go out there and make us win by as much as possible. That's the perfect response because it's totally accurate.
Yeah, totally fair. Again, we've talked about it on the show over and over again. Run up the score. Couldn't
run it up.
If you can run it up on Oregon, do it. I won't be mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like when Washington beat Oregon, what was that, like 70-13 or something?
Yeah. Yikes.
I wasn't upset at them for running up the score.
I was upset at Oregon for letting them run up the score.
Upsetting at Oregon, like, why the fuck is Washington beating us like this?
Yeah, they could have beat us 14-13. I still would have been pissed. Like,
yeah,
they beat us. I didn't care about the number. Like, we lost. Like,
getting embarrassed sucks. There's no two ways about it. But like,
we had the same 60 minutes to try and stop them.
Never once have I been like, how dare they score a touchdown with their third string offense?
Right.
I don't care if they leave the first string in. I genuinely don't.
That was the other thing, though. Penn State didn't. Penn State had their third and fourth stringers in. So James Franklin's like, what am I going to do? Tell them they can't go play football? No. That's ridiculous. Anyway, just side note there. We've talked about that plenty on this show. Rutgers at Michigan State. Rutgers handled that.
Man, have you seen all this stuff with Aiden Childs? It's really cathartic for me to watch Beaver fans come crawling back to Aiden Childs because they got so crushed so badly. And he said something about, like, he was like, the fans suck here. And Oregon State fans are now like, we always loved you, Aiden. Come back to Oregon.
You were our
State.
favorite.
Nobody abandoned you here. We didn't spend months shit talking you for leaving with Coach Smith. We didn't do that. Come on back, buddy.
Yeah.
So funny. So funny.
Yeah, his actual quote was, I no longer care about fans. Which, yikes.
Yeah, that's not a good look, dude.
That's not, I don't care if you feel that way. You cannot say that.
No.
Because you are getting...
He kind of clarifies it, right? That he cares about the fans that are there. But
yeah, he was saying, basically he was saying, I don't care about keyboard warriors, but that is not what the quote was.
Yeah.
It's not a good look.
Like, he should have said, I no longer care about fans online.
Right.
Or fans that don't show
There's
up.
There's a way to say
like,
that. And I appreciate that he misspoke and he clarified, but like, dude,
that's never going to be the quote.
Media 101. You can't do that.
You got to say it in the same breath, my bud.
Yeah. Fresno State at UCLA. UCLA wins their final game to finish 5-7. Kind of a bummer season for them, but they did turn it around and show signs of life.
You know, I think you say a bummer season, but I think for the most part, people thought they were going to be worse than they were. So,
we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and they turned the fact that they rattled
too. Yeah, the fact that they well, no, because they lost to Penn State and Minnesota after that, but they did rattle off 3 wins in a row against at Rutgers, at Nebraska. That was the real one.
That was like okay.
And then at home against Iowa. Like, that's 3 solid wins in a row in the middle of that season. So,
yeah, totally.
It could have been a total disaster because we picked them to lose all 3 of those football games.
Yeah, I mean, we picked them like I think 3rd from the bottom, 4th from the bottom, somewhere in there, and we had to change it because of the coaching.
Yeah.
Well, I had them last.
Yep.
And then I was like, oh, they got Eric Bieniemy, right? So they got
on offense.
And I was like, okay, I'll bring them up a couple spots.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get 3 wins, not 2.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. 3 wins.
But
not
5's good. I
0.
mean, for what they were dealing with.
I think that's a successful season for Deshaun Foster in his first year.
Yeah.
I really do.
100%. I fully agree with that. Especially that win at Nebraska and at home against Iowa. Those are good wins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And traveling all the way to Rutgers, those are good
for a pretty good Rutgers team. I mean, a Rutgers team that just absolutely crushed Michigan State.
Yeah, right.
Like,
all right. That's the Big Ten. Colorado hosted Oklahoma State on.
Did you just swing past Washington, Oregon?
Oh, I did. You're right. I did.
Wow.
Here's the thing, man. I go through the ESPN thing. But Oregon's at the top on Saturday, but it's at the bottom of our list. So I got to the bottom of the ESPN anyway. Oregon, Washington. I really don't have a lot of notes on this game. Oregon dominated.
Never worried.
Yeah, I was never once worried in this one.
I haven't been worried about this game since week 1.
The only thing that I was frustrated with, it didn't make me worried about the outcome of the game, but the first quarter and a half, I was like, what the fuck is going on with this offense?
Mm-hmm.
Because it made no damn sense what was happening.
Yeah, because it wasn't like, there's the difference between the setup plays, right? We've seen Oregon run setup plays, and that's frustrating to watch at times, but it wasn't that. It was just like weird execution issues, like Terrence Ferguson, Evan Stewart, both having a case of the drops in like big moments. Just like weird, like offensive lineman tripping over his own feet, just like weird stuff like that. That was just like, okay, execution is not there, and then it was.
Yeah, I mean, like first drive of the game was a beautiful 71-yard touchdown drive, just methodical, perfectly executed, like no notes, perfect drive.
Yeah.
Second drive was a 3-and-out. Third drive was 6 plays and a fumble after 17 yards. Then the third drive was another touchdown. Then the fourth drive was another touchdown. So like then they started to turn it on. But those 2-3 in a row is just like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Why is this so hard all of a sudden? And then the second half happened and they just kind of blew it out.
Yep.
Like we said earlier, the offense runs different when Tez Johnson's in the game. And he didn't play the first few series. It was weird.
They're probably just being careful with him, but then because Oregon's his dream school, he's like, I have to play against Washington, right?
Oh yeah.
And then he got his touchdown, and the whole world cried.
Dude,
not the whole world.
I loved his press conference after the game, dude. Just talking like he said, "I hate Washington" like 18 times.
Yeah, I just hate him. Like
I didn't realize that Oregon was Tez's dream school since he was a kid.
Did you see the Ducks versus them?
Yeah.
When he had a fucking hoodie on in middle of Alabama.
Yeah.
Because he liked the colors.
Yep.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was his like absolute dream school.
Yeah.
Because he was at Boston College, somewhere on the East Coast. Temple. That's right. He was at Temple. And then he gets his opportunity at Oregon and he took advantage of it, man.
Sure did.
Good for him.
I don't know, like maybe I'm just being like rosy here, but like the way the players, especially the transfer players, have talked about Oregon is like really fascinating to me because they all talk about fan bases embracing them super quickly. Like I think Evan Stewart talked about it at one point where he's like, I feel more at home here than I ever did at A&M. Like, the people are just so accepting and like are so excited that I'm here, yada, yada, yada. It's like, love that. Love hearing them talk about that in public.
Yep.
Because Tez said the same thing. He's like, this fan base embraced me immediately.
Yeah.
Like, of course, it does help that both of those guys were super
really
highly touted wide receivers.
And really fucking good.
Yeah, Tez Johnson was the number 1 rated receiver coming back that year. I mean, it helps. But Evan Stewart's got another year, too.
Yep.
If he wants it, which I think he will.
I think he will, too. I think he will, too. So, good stuff from Oregon. Takes care of business, 49-21. Yeah, again, not a lot of notes. They kind of gave up a garbage time touchdown in the fourth.
Backups are in.
Yeah, backups were in. It was Washington's last drive.
Yeah.
They scored that touchdown, so it really wasn't even as close as the score shows. All right, now let's move on to the Big 12.
Yes.
Colorado played...
Oh, wait. Dubs down.
Always. Colorado played Oklahoma State on Friday, and Oklahoma State didn't get off the bus.
And Colorado was like, let's get Travis Hunter a Heisman.
Travis Hunter got his Heisman.
I mean, at this point, it's undeniable.
It's locked up. It's locked up. He started the game with a pick.
Yeah.
Right. First drive, he started the game with a pick, ended with 3 offensive touchdowns.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's no, like
and that last touchdown that he caught, which probably sealed it, he got face masked on that catch. He got fucking tackled on that catch.
Here's the thing. This is a year that's kind of unfortunate for the Heisman because you have two guys who absolutely deserve the Heisman.
Yeah.
Whereas we've had years in the past where nobody's deserved it and you give it to some dumbass, right, who doesn't deserve it. And this year, like, you have two guys who absolutely deserve a Heisman. You have a guy who is one of the best running backs we've seen in the last 40, 50 years, right? And then, a guy who is a player that we haven't really seen before, right? I mean, we've seen kind of before, but like not on the level that he's playing it at.
To this level.
Like, I mean, like we've seen guys play two ways and we've seen people play two ways successfully before, right? But like not, I mean, I think I saw that Travis Hunter's he's like a top 3 corner rated or top 5 corner rated and like a top 15 wide receiver. That's fucking insane.
Insanity.
like it would be one thing, like if because people keep bringing up like the snap count, like, oh yeah, he's playing so many snaps. I couldn't give two shits about that, right? If he played 136 snaps, but was the 180th ranked wide receiver, yeah, or he's like the 50th ranked cornerback and the 180th wide receiver, he's not even close. He's not even touching the Heisman.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's doing both things on such a high level, yeah, he's not number one in both spots, but he's a top 20 player at both. Yeah,
it's insane.
Like, get out of here. He's won the Heisman.
Yep, he won the Heisman. Yeah, no shade to Ashton Jeanty. He's great. Love Ashton Jeanty. I hope he ends up on the Broncos.
He might have too much mileage on him though.
Yeah, he might. But
because you think the last running back who we saw with this kind of rushing season, Monty Ball. Guess who he went to? Broncos. Didn't do shit.
It's true. And Monty Ball also didn't sniff the Heisman.
Yeah.
And before that, the last running back to have a season like that was
Melvin
Gordon.
Melvin Gordon.
Also at Wisconsin. Also didn't sniff the Heisman. So, it's really hard to win the Heisman as a running back. And Derrick Henry won it. But, again, people...
And he shouldn't even won it that year.
Yeah. No, he shouldn't have. But people look at stats. It's like, yeah, but if you watch Derrick Henry run, he was a fucking force.
Yeah.
Right? And so is Ashton Jeanty. But, the Heisman's... Yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter. Travis is going to win the Heisman, and that's awesome.
The most compelling argument that you can make for Jeanty at this point is without Jeanty, Boise State wins 5-6 games. Without Travis Hunter, you're still looking at a nice a 6-win season, 7-win season for.
I don't know, man. The flip side of that is if Travis doesn't go out against Kansas State, Colorado's playing in the Big 12 championship.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm saying the most compelling argument you can make is Boise State's trash outside of Ashton Jeanty, and at least Colorado has Shedeur and a couple good wide receiver.
Yeah,
right.
They got more help.
Yeah, but I still don't think it's compelling enough.
It's not. Travis is your Heisman. Buffs finished 9-3. Hell of a season. They're going to end up at either the, I believe it's the Alamo Bowl or the Vegas Bowl, because
that's a success season, man.
Those Pac-12 schools that left are still on the Pac-12 Bowl list.
So they could play an in-conference game.
Oh, one of the projections is Colorado playing BYU in the Alamo Bowl.
That's so dumb. Nobody wants to see that.
Nobody wants to see that. At least it's not a team Colorado played this year.
True.
But it's going to be weird to look at
conference game and bowls.
Look at Big 12 patches on both teams.
Yeah. When you do conference records against other conferences, you have to put a Big 12 versus Big 12, and they're going to be 1-1 or whatever. So dumb.
So stupid. Let's see. What else do we have on here? Arizona State at Arizona. We talked about this a little bit. Kenny Dillingham has that team fucking rolling. Arizona's no good, right? So this isn't super surprising. But a total shellacking in a rivalry game. with
on
the conference championship on the line on the road. That's impressive. I don't care who you're playing.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, people keep like shitting, like, because people keep talking about like that 5 seed and be like, you have to go. What are you going to do? Play Arizona State then Boise State? I don't want to play Arizona State right now. They're fucking rolling. Like,
yeah, no, I
don't think they're on the level of like the top tier teams, but like that's a team that can get up and bite you.
I don't care who makes the playoff. I don't want to play them.
Yeah,
we have to. You have to play somebody, but this kind of comes back to like, give me the bye. I know in the past I've said it might be an easier path if you're the 5 seed than the 1 seed, and that may still be true. Still give me the bye every single fucking time. The system needs to change. The fact that we're even talking about the 5 seed having an easier path than the 1 seed is insane.
Yeah,
but I still want the bye. Anyway, good for Arizona State. Iowa State beat Kansas State. That did not solidify their berth into the Big 12 because they had to wait until BYU beat Houston for that to be solidified because of all the crazy tiebreaker shit that was going on in the Big 12. But Iowa State is playing Arizona State in the Big 12 championship. If Houston had pulled off the win against BYU, Colorado would have been in and ahead of Iowa State.
Whoa,
because of the way the tiebreaker. Yeah.
So Jamie was rooting hard for the Cougars.
Oh man, when it was
your mom's an alum too.
When it was close there for a while, I was like, they might actually pull this shit off. And then it never.
I would have loved to see Colorado ASU Big 12 championship.
Can you imagine, dude? Like 2 Pac-12 teams coming in.
Pac-12 team and new conference championships.
Yes.
But the Pac-12 is soft.
Pac-12 sucked, man.
They were so bad. It was so bad at football. Fuck. I'm so mad that it's gone.
So mad.
Still lives. Still lives.
It still lives. Beavers are Pac-12 champs.
It's in a much sadder version.
much, much sadder. Let's see. Tennessee at Vanderbilt. Tennessee took care of business in this one. This game started pretty exciting. With Vandy jumping out to a 14-0 lead?
14-0 lead.
And then Tennessee just all gas, no brakes for the rest of the game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
South Carolina at Clemson. Beamer balls rolling. They are rolling hard. Arguably the hottest team in the country right now.
I don't think it's arguable.
If you had to pick like one team out of this top 12, 15, whatever they are, that I really would not want to play this week, it's probably South Carolina.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. And Nick Harbor is just insane.
He's a freak.
Here's the thing, like there's other players that are like him. Like I think Kenyon Sadiq is very much like Nick Harbor.
Yep.
But on a whole other level.
Yeah.
Like Nick Harbor is like just so in the stratosphere on like he's a tight end who can run like a 4.3 40. Like, what are we doing here?
I mean, they have him as a wide receiver. Like he's
I know but like
receiver.
He came out of high school as a tight end.
And he's huge.
Yeah, he's like 6'5",
he's a 6'5", 235-pound wide receiver. That is
dude.
Silly. And he runs like a 4.2. Like it's just not fair.
Remember last year when I was like, please, dear God, let Oregon sign this guy.
I almost did.
Almost did.
Came right down to the wire.
Man, I really wish they would have gotten him. If he wasn't from he's from the Carolinas, right?
I think he's from Maryland. Like I think he's from the but he's
from DC area. I mean, he wanted to stay closer to home, which I can't fault. But damn it,
damn it, damn it!
He runs a 20-second 200-meter.
Dude,
it's insane.
Yeah. But anyway, South Carolina beats Clemson with a 10-point fourth quarter that sealed it, shut Clemson out in the fourth. Lucky for Clemson, they didn't need this one to get into the ACC championship thanks to Miami losing, which we didn't even have on here because we just kind of figured that Miami was going to beat Syracuse, and shame on us.
Shame on us.
Because they didn't do that. And we should have known better because that is like the most Mario Cristobal shit ever. You have to beat
Syracuse is a pretty good team.
Yeah, but like you have to beat Syracuse to clinch a playoff spot.
Yeah.
And if there's ever a coach that's going to blow that away, it's Mario Cristobal.
Yep. That's very true. Very true.
Auburn at Alabama in the Iron Bowl. This was a game until it wasn't. And I don't think the score quite indicated. Like Auburn just could not move the ball in the second half.
Yeah.
So kind of a bummer. I thought Auburn was going to do the funniest thing.
I really wish they would have.
The fact that Bama is going to fucking backdoor their way into the playoff again just drives me fucking crazy.
Yeah. I have a whole thing.
We'll get to that. Oregon State at Boise State. This game was closer than it should have been. Like you said, Eli, I think without Ashton Genty, this Boise State team's mid at best.
Yeah. At best.
At best. And he wasn't crazy this game. He went for 226, but it took 37 carries to get there, right? So it's not like he was insane. They held him to one touchdown, right? Like the Oregon State defense actually played pretty well, especially in the second half.
Yeah.
Oregon State's problem all season is they can't score at all.
Yeah, they have zero. They have worse offense than Michigan did.
Yeah, and Iowa. Yeah, they're bad, but Boise State escapes with a win. Still have everything in front of them in terms of making the playoffs. And the other team that was there, ready to pounce if Boise State fell, was Tulane, but they couldn't pull it off against Memphis. Weep womp.
Oh, we were talking about recruiting earlier, right? And we're talking about like how you win championships. And I was looking at recruiting, and I went through just as like a fun thing. I'm gonna guess tell me how many 4-stars you think have committed to a group of 5 school.
Like ever?
No, this year.
This year? 2. 1
went to Memphis. He's a quarterback going to Memphis.
Probably from Memphis.
I was like shocked. I was like, okay, I can see like, 5-6 guys, hometown guys, like who like really want to go to, wherever they're at, right? Like, a guy who's from, Toledo, right? Like, or not Toledo, not Toledo, but you know what I mean? Like a guy who, is from, I don't know, Ohio, Miami, right? Miami, Ohio, and like just wants to stay home, right? Like something like that. A guy who's from Florida who wants to go to Florida International, right? Like, nope. That just doesn't happen.
Apparently.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Yep. One 4-star in the entirety of group of 5.
And he's from Georgia.
Yeah. It's weird.
It's like he's not even that close to Memphis.
Walking on Memphis.
It's crazy.
1
4-star. No, they got 2. Memphis got 2 4-stars.
Really? No,
I don't know what service you were looking at.
I was looking at 24/7.
Oh, they got a 4-star wide receiver out of Texas.
That must have happened recently.
They got a 4-star wideout out of Texas. So nobody else got a 4-star. Memphis got 2 of them. I guess that's how you win the group of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Blue chip ratio, man. It's
the blue chip ratio, 3%.
Yep. And then our best bets.
24/7 says 1. I swear to you.
American Athletic Conference, Memphis, 2025 class, signed letter of intent, Antoine Hill, 4-star, Xavier Johnson, 4-star.
That's weird. If you go to like the rankings, it says 1, and then if you go into their thing, it says 2.
Oh, that's so the 24/7 sports ranking is 90. His composite ranking is 3. So like some of the other services have him as a 3-star.
Gotcha.
So debatable. He's a 3.5 star.
Yeah.
Our best bets, we went 2-0, baby, to finish
Hey-o.
the season 500. Eli again had Illinois. I had Notre Dame, both -7.5, both covered. Suck it, Cameron.
Suck it, Cameron.
Hey, I parlayed your best bets.
You did.
Into a $37 profit. I am up on the season with that win.
That's the opposite of what you're supposed to do in best bets. It's the opposite.
You know, it is what it is. Like
you are supposed to fade us in best bets always.
I mean, even this way, like without that bet, I still would have been up like $20.
Not a lot.
Because you win like $1.
15 and 15.
Yeah, but if you bet 2, you win $1.
I know.
So the extra 37 just kind of put it over.
Nice. All right, let's get into our rankings. First, let's go into the college football playoff rankings. I don't know about this. I don't know if I like it. I don't know how I would change it. I just don't know. I don't know a lot, I guess. How do you guys feel about how this has ended?
I'm not surprised by the way it's ended.
Uh-oh.
About that time?
Freeze. It's about that time. Not surprised is probably a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I guess just disappointed.
Gone.
I guess I won't know. I have to reserve judgment to see what happens in the after conference championship week, because if Clemson beats SMU, that's the one that I'm looking at. Like, what are they going to do in that case?
Mm-hmm.
Because what I don't want, and what we've said all along that I don't want to see, and I don't think you guys want to see, is a team like SMU, who right now is at 8. They're at number 8 in the country, playing in their conference championship game, getting punished for playing an extra game, when if they didn't play in that game, they would have been in.
Yeah.
That's what can't happen. It just can't. And
I thought the committee released a statement that said
they did. He came out and said that we won't do it. I need to see it happen.
Yeah.
Fair.
And I almost want Clemson to win that game just so we can be assured that they're going to hold true to that.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I do want Clemson to win that game. I will normally root against Clemson till the day I die, but I hope Clemson wins that game so Alabama's kicked out of the fucking playoff.
That'd be so sick. That'd be so sick, because Alabama deserves to be absolutely nowhere in this conversation. I mean, sorry.
The problem is, like, they deserve to be somewhere in it because, like, I don't know who else you put in there.
Here's the thing, man. For me, if you are in the end of the season and you get blown out by a bad 6-6 team,
yeah,
right, a team that shouldn't have even really gone 6-6, you get blown the fuck out between a week where you did a cupcake week. Like after a cupcake week, you go and get blown out by a bad team. That to me completely takes you out of the conversation.
I agree. I mean, you'll see in my rankings, they're out of the conversation.
Yeah, they're not in mine. They're not in mine either. But like I'll take Miami losing to a 9-3 Syracuse
100%
over Alabama getting blown out.
I'll take South Carolina, who beat Alabama over.
I'll take South Carolina for sure. Like, I'll take any of those teams over.
I mean, here's the thing: like, the committee,
I'll take Ole Miss over Alabama.
Yeah, the committee has shown all year that they will take into consideration how you look today more than how you looked at the beginning of the season.
Yeah,
until now, all of a sudden, because it's fucking Alabama.
It's Alabama, yeah.
Anyway,
I wish there was like AI technology to where they could like remove logos and colors from TVs and make them watch games that way.
Yeah.
So they just don't know.
No clue.
Like that'd be so nice if they could. They just have to watch the game and just see how it is. Like,
yep. Anyway, here's
sequester them for the rest of the season so they can't watch the games.
Here's how the second to last rankings ended up, and this is pretty much it. The committee did come out and say, to their defense, they did come out and say, and yes, this is a coach thing. It's my wife's passport holder. I'm just fidgeting with it. The committee did come out and say that this is pretty much set. There may be some shuffling a little bit in the rankings based on conference championships, but they said anybody who's playing in a conference championship that's in now will not be out if they lose. I think the exception to that is Boise State. I don't know that they said that, but I don't see any universe where Boise State losing to UNLV means that Boise State's in.
I think that would just put UNLV in, right?
It would put UNLV in where Boise State is, and let's just say Clemson also beat SMU. It just means Clemson would also jump Boise State, and Boise State would be out. But I think Boise State's the exception to that statement.
Yeah, right? I think the group of five is because they only get one spot, truly, right?
Guaranteed, yeah. But
so
yes. So anyway, I think that's the exception of the rule.
It would be interesting to see if UNLV wins, what do they do?
I almost guarantee you Boise State's out.
I would too.
I think it's college football and the committee's worst nightmare to have two group of five schools in the playoff.
Yeah, they made the mistake of not putting Army above UNLV.
All Day Jones in the chat saying they're not watching games. I think they are right here. Like, I think they are. I just think they're not ignoring brands. And we can't ignore the fact that it is very clearly their job to make college football the most money possible. And what makes them the most money possible? The biggest brands that get the most eyeballs.
Well, and like, here's the thing is there's no way truly to have an objective ranking here, right?
It's impossible.
Because you always have to have a perceived strength of schedule, right? Like the SEC, all their strengths of schedules are higher than anyone else because it's the SEC. It's based off of nothing, really, right? Like it's based off of what you kind of think where the SEC is, right? How does Vandy stack up against Wisconsin, right? That's you're just guessing. Right? And so, yeah, you're getting a lot more from playing Vandy than you are from playing Wisconsin, maybe, in your strength of schedule. But, like, really, what's the difference? Right? But the SEC is getting a bump there because Vandy plays in the SEC. It's shit like that, right? Like, it's Arkansas. Like, really, what's the difference between Arkansas and, like, Louisville?
Well, this is the only sport, like college sports, really, college football and college basketball, and I guess volleyball, any sport that has a tournament like this, the end of the season that's based on rankings, like you don't see this in any professional sport because it is solely based on wins and losses.
Yeah.
At that, like, it doesn't matter how you look.
It doesn't matter your schedule.
If you win football, right. Doesn't matter if you played the easiest schedule. It's just, did you win the football games?
Yep.
Right. And you can't do that in college football because there are so many teams, right?
Yeah.
So it can't just be wins and losses. You have to have some sort of subjective.
Yeah. Otherwise, every team would just go play MAC teams all.
Right. You would never, ever have teams playing tough schedules.
Yeah.
Out of conference if you did that. So there has to be some level of subjectivity, but, and, you know, honestly, like it gets criticized heavily, and I think Alabama being where they are is rightfully criticized, but I can also make an argument for Alabama because they have better wins than those other teams. They have worse losses, so I personally don't have them there, but the argument can be had.
Yeah, it's not like outlandish argument.
No,
I think it's wrong.
I think it's silly. I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
Like I said, when we get to my rankings, I don't have Alabama right there, but I get the argument. It's not like it's way out of left field and Alabama's so much worse than Miami. If Alabama and Miami played tomorrow, I would pick Alabama. Do they deserve to be ahead of?
I don't know if I'd pick Alabama.
I don't know either. It would be kind of a coin flip, but they're at 11 and 12. They're right next to each other. Like it's like this isn't some super egregious thing. It's just college football this year specifically is so wild that I don't think anything the committee did would have been viewed well.
No. They were screwed.
They're screwed. So anyway, let's get into these rankings. 25, starting at 25, we got Memphis, Army, Colorado, Syracuse, Illinois, and UNLV rounding out the top 20. Missouri, BYU, Clemson, Iowa, Arizona State, Arizona State rounding out the top 15. South Carolina, Ole Miss, Miami, Alabama, and Boise State get you into the top 10. And then Indiana, SMU, Tennessee, Ohio State, and Georgia get you to the number 5. And then your top 4 are Notre Dame, Penn State, Texas, and Oregon. That's the rankings. Let's get into what our rankings are.
Yeah, let's do that.
Cameron, cue the beautiful little graphic.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Let's see. Starting with my number 12 team, I have South Carolina. And that also puts them in the 12th seed. I just think South Carolina is playing the best ball out of the Miami, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Alabama group. I think South Carolina is playing the best ball right now. So that's why I have them there.
Okay, at 12, I have Miami, which puts them in the 12th spot. Again, kind of like you're saying, like the argument's there, right? Losing, I'm not going to punish somebody immensely for losing to a 9-3 team. Close. And, I think Alabama's loss, because I have Alabama at like 13, right?
Yeah.
Alabama's loss to Oklahoma is far and away worse, and they have one more loss.
Great.
I get that they have better wins, but they have one more loss, and the losses are bad.
So, yeah, I also took into account with Miami that they should have 3 more losses than they do.
True. Fair.
That's why I have Miami ranked ahead of Alabama also. I just have South Carolina ahead of both of them.
Fair. I think that's fair. I mean, South Carolina is playing really good ball right now.
And they should have beat Alabama. And I know they didn't, and head-to-head, and they have the same record. I get the arguments. Alabama's losses are just egregious to me.
Yeah.
And that, like
the way I look at it is like if you flipped the logos for Alabama, even Miami and Alabama.
Yeah.
We're
not even having this conversation.
Alabama's ranked above them.
100%.
It's like, and I think that with anybody in really the top 20.
Yep.
If you flip their records and their resumes, Alabama's
actually
still ranked
100%. Maybe in the full top 25, actually.
Yeah, I mean, outside of like maybe Memphis, right?
And Army.
Yeah, like any of those like mid, like UNLV, right? Like any of the mid major, like that's probably not it. But like Miami, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Arizona State, Iowa State, if you flop their resume onto Alabama gets the nod over all of them.
100%.
Still.
That brings us to number 11 for me is Boise State. This is a shift. That puts them at the 11 seed. Foreshadowing, this is a pretty big jump for Arizona State in my rankings. Again, I think Boise State's good. I think Ashton Jeanty is awesome, but super one-dimensional, and I think that's going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm. Number 11, I have Arizona State. I like, as much as I love Dilly and I love this team, and I would be scared of them. Not like super scared, but like they're sneaky. Like there's still a lot of flaws there. So but they're winning games, and so I'm gonna keep them in the rankings and keep them in the playoff. At 11.
At 10, I have Arizona State. Same logic. I just think that they're slightly better as a unit than Boise State is right now. That puts them in the 4 seed as the last bye.
Okay. At number 10, I have Tennessee. I know this is weird coming off of like them having a pretty big victory. But like every time I've watched Tennessee this year, I just am not really that impressed with what I see on the field. And I think a lot of top teams are going to be able to beat them. So I just got Tennessee at 10.
I have Tennessee at 9.
Hey, look at
that. Which slots them in the 10 seed. Kind of the same thing. Just like not overly impressed at any given point of this season. And that Arkansas loss is bad.
It gets worse and worse.
Yep.
At number 9, I have Boise State. Mostly because I just didn't really want to drop a team that won, by, almost 3 scores, right? So, which puts them at the 4 seed and getting the first round bye.
At number 8, I have Georgia, and this is going to be the biggest difference between me and the bracket. Georgia should have lost to Georgia Tech at home. And that's been a story all season. Save for the Texas game and the Tennessee game, Georgia has not been impressive this season. And they're getting buoyed by their last couple seasons and being a perennial playoff team. I just don't think this is that team this year. So that slots them at the 9 seed.
The whole argument of, they won 2 championships in a row, blah, 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 that's bullshit. I couldn't
get out of here with that crap.
Less about 2 seasons,
especially in college football.
I couldn't care less about last season. Look at what happened to Michigan and Washington. Both teams were the national championship last year. Michigan won. They are,
barely bowl teams.
They're not good teams.
Yeah.
Right. And so saying anything has to do, if you give anybody any credit from last season, you're dumb.
Yep.
Has no bearing on this year.
Yep.
So my number 8, I have Indiana. I think this is about where they were last week. They won in emphatic fashion against a really, really fucking bad team. So yeah. It didn't really move the needle for me a whole lot.
At number 7, I have Indiana. Kind of the same thing. Except Indiana has done what Georgia hasn't done to bad teams, and that's blow them out.
That's a really fair point.
And their one blemish was against the one good team they played, but that's not their fault. So they've taken care of business against everybody else. So I have them at number 7, which puts them at the 8th seed.
Cool. At number 7, I have SMU. SMU. Like this team. Still, I don't think they're great, but they're a really good team, really solid play, really disciplined football. So I got SMU there, which puts them at the number 3 seed for the 3rd best conference champ.
At number 6, I have Ohio State, which puts them at the 7 seed. Real bad loss. Just inexcusable loss against a pretty bad Michigan team. And so they need to fall for it, and they are.
Yeah. At my number 6, I also have Ohio State. I kind of wanted to punish them a little bit more because that's a really bad loss. I just couldn't bring myself to go any further than 6. I really wanted to put them at maybe 7, but I can't put Indiana above them. So I'm keeping Ohio State at 6, which puts them at the 8th spot.
Yeah, my little bit of gamble was putting SMU above Ohio State, and that's what I did. But again, if you put the resumes up against each other and take the logos away, SMU's resume is better after that Michigan loss. So
SMU's resume is like shockingly good.
Yeah. So SMU in there at 5, which puts them at the 3 seed.
Yeah. At number 5, I have Georgia. After your compelling arguments, Jamie, I kind of want to drop them. Again, it's a
I was going to
team
say
that
something today. Like
I couldn't drop a team after winning. I couldn't bring myself to do it. So yeah, Georgia stays where they are.
I kind of tried to look at mine as a fresh thing every week just because everything changes so much. So that's why mine changes a lot.
Gotcha. Which puts them at the 7 seed.
Number 4, I have Penn State, which puts them at the 6 seed. Pretty impressive win against a pretty mediocre Maryland team. I have yet to see Penn State do it against a good opponent. So that's why I don't have them higher than like Notre Dame, for example. But they're there at 4 with the 6 seed.
Yeah. At 4, I have Notre Dame. Really like what I've seen out of them recently. This is a pretty big jump for them. I think I had them pretty low last week. Probably not that low, but I don't remember exactly. But like a pretty big jump for them this week. Impressive win. That NIU loss is really bad, so that's knocking them down more than Penn State having no great wins, but losses to Ohio State, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you had Notre Dame last week at 9.
Yeah, big jump for Notre Dame.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. And I probably like Penn State being ahead of Notre Dame's probably right. But I have Notre Dame at 3. I just think this team, if they did not just totally blunder the Northern Illinois game, we're probably like, there's an argument to be had between them and Oregon for number 1. Just with how Notre Dame has played the second half of this season.
Yeah.
Can't ignore the blunder, so that's why they're not up at 2 or 1. But again, if you're asking me if I'd rather play Notre Dame or Penn State this week, I'm going to rather play Penn State.
Yeah. Both really haven't beat any great teams. So
no great teams, but Notre Dame's beat better teams.
Fair.
Louisville, Navy, Army, USC, Georgia Tech, who almost beat Georgia. Should have beat Georgia. Texas A&M.
That's frustrating. Watching that Georgia game going to 8 overtimes, I was just so frustrating. Come on, guys. They had the way. If Haynes King makes the right read.
Oh my God, I know.
If he doesn't want to put a hero ball there, hand it off, man. It was a walk into the end zone.
Oh, killer.
Number 3, I have Penn State. We're very similar, Jamie. We just have a lot of flips, except for Georgia.
Yeah, just a little flippy flips.
Yeah.
2 and 1 is Texas and Oregon. I don't think.
Yep.
Not a lot of notes.
Nope. There. I mean, both teams did what they needed to do.
All right, let's look at what these matchups would be.
I'm just gonna say it right away. I hate my bracket. Because it has 2 conference games.
Yep, I hate your bracket too.
I hate my bracket.
I love my bracket. Your bracket's
awesome.
Sick. My bracket is fucking dope.
Yeah, South Carolina going to Notre Dame, going to North Bend. Indiana hosting Georgia.
Yes.
Love that. Penn State, Boise State going to Happy Valley. Love that. And then Tennessee going to Ohio State. Love that.
Love it. And don't sleep on that Indiana-Georgia game. Georgia into Bloomington in mid-December. It's going to be fucking cold, dude.
Yeah.
So, like, people are looking at these matchups and not thinking about that.
People have been shitting on Indiana all season. They execute on a level that can really fuck up Carson Beck.
Yeah.
right? Like I think Will Howard, right, Will Howard. I think Will Howard is a markedly better quarterback than
that's
Carson
Ohio
Beck.
State's.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
And they and like
yeah.
and they
I
and
thought
like
you were talking about Indiana still.
No. Like and so he like Indiana's only losses to a guy who is markedly better, I think, than Carson Beck, especially when it comes to holding on to the ball. Right? This is somebody he threw like 2 picks last game. Like Carson Beck is loose with that ball. Indiana executes on a really high level when it comes to that kind of thing, and
that would be a fun football game.
I think it'd be a lot closer than SEC people would think.
My bracket, when I saw it after I made it, I was like, yes. I didn't make my rankings to have this, but this is a bracket I love.
If you look at my bracket, you know I did rankings first because this bracket sucks. I mean,
it does suck a lot.
Oh, Georgia hosting Tennessee again. Notre Dame hosting Arizona State. Fine, I guess. Ohio State hosting Indiana again. And then Miami going to Penn State would be fun.
It would be fun.
That would be fun. That's the only game that would be fun out of that whole first.
Yep.
I mean, Notre Dame, Arizona State, like 2 high-flying teams.
Not only do you have 2 conference matchups, they would both lead to conference matchups.
Yeah. No, I hate this bracket.
No, you got to redo that.
I hate this bracket so much. Yeah, your bracket sucks.
Literally my worst case scenario.
It's pretty bad. We had this debate in our text chat about how to fix some of this, right? Like, and we talk about the pathway. Like, it's less scary now. If you look at my bracket, I have no issues with how any of that would stack up for like Oregon, say.
Yeah.
But let's just say the 12-5 matchup is Boise State against Ohio State. And so Ohio State's highly favored. It's going to be a home game against Boise State. Oregon then would play, or Ohio State would then get to play Arizona State in the second round. And Oregon would have to play Georgia. And that just sucks. Like, I don't even care how it looks. Like, that just sucks. And my line of thinking and the way Chris was line of thinking in the text was just do what the NFL does. After the first round, restack. You don't need to re-rank. Just restack. So the 1 seed plays the lowest remaining seed. 2 seed plays the second lowest. 3rd seed, third lowest. 4th seed plays the highest remaining. And that's it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird because, like, the 1 historically plays like the 12,
right. It's the buys that fuck it. Right.
Yeah.
Because in the basketball tournament, the 1s play the 16s, but there's no bye.
Yeah.
So that there's no room for an upset or something that like. So the 1 playing the 8 seed or 9 seed in this case could really, really suck. And the 4 seed being potentially the 13th best team in the country, like the number 13 team is the number 4 seed. Like, that's a possibility out there.
Yeah.
And that sucks. Like, the 5 seed gets to play the 13th best team all of a sudden, but number 1 stuck playing the 9 seed, the 9th ranked team. That sucks.
Reseed would be fine.
Restack it. Just reseed after not even reseed. Just make sure the 1 seed plays the lowest remaining seed.
Yeah.
That's it. Solves the whole thing. I'm good with conferences getting the buys. I think there needs to be emphasis on winning your conference. Otherwise, you're just paving the path for 2 Big Ten, 2 SEC teams. And that's the way it will end up. Not every year, but a lot of years. You'll have multiple teams from the same conference.
Yeah.
Restack.
It would end the problem.
It's a quick fix.
It would end the specific problem of that 5 seed. Right.
Right.
But
It would end any problem, right? Like the 1 seed gets to play the lowest remaining.
No, I'm
seed.
saying like if you did away with conference gives you.
Yeah.
It would get rid of that 5 seed problem.
Yeah,
but like there's still flaws to it. Like you said, it'd be 2 Big Ten, 2 SEC every year.
Yeah, which is not fun for anybody. Like that just sucks. There should be emphasis on winning your conference. It's still college football.
Yeah,
like you should. Yeah, I'm good with that. But restack it. Like that's it. If South Carolina in this case goes in and beats Notre Dame, but they are the 12th ranked team, the 1 seed should get to play them.
Mm-hmm.
And that sucks because South Carolina's hot. But maybe even make it so the 1 seed gets to pick who they play. That'd be all kinds.
Yeah, do like 2 weeks between the round and like between the first round and the second. Yeah, like you have a draft Sunday, on who you want to play.
That's Sunday morning. Head coaches all come on and they have a draft.
That would be sick.
Also, could you imagine like
the drama?
Oh, and the poster board material.
Yeah,
oh my God. Yeah.
Actually, I'm here for it. Do
that.
Then
it comes up. We want Boise State again. We know we can beat them.
Yep.
And make the coaches do the picking themselves on a podium in front of people.
Yeah. And they say it. And
they have to say it.
And they have
loud.
to give their reasoning.
Yeah. Cause chaos. I love it.
Total mayhem.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for. All right. That's our rankings. Let's get into conference championship previews. Obviously, fewer games this year. We only got 9 because the Pac-12 already has a conference champion.
Silly bitch.
So let's get into these. I need to pull up all of them. All right. It starts Friday night. Western Kentucky travels to Jacksonville State to play in the Conference USA Championship. Jacksonville State is a 5-point favorite. I'm picking Jacksonville State.
Cool.
I don't know why. I don't know anything about either of these teams.
Me either. I know Western Kentucky generally has a really good offense, so I'm going Western Kentucky.
Western Kentucky did just beat Jacksonville State literally on Saturday.
That's why I'm picking Western Kentucky. They've done it once. They can do it 2 weeks in a row.
They did it once by 2. I'm going to say the final score is 19-17. Jacksonville State over Western Kentucky. So it's exactly the same, just flipped.
Okay.
It won't be that, but that would be
No,
funny.
That's not what's going to happen.
It would be very funny though. What are the odds that that's a score? I want to put a 1 penny bet on that.
Well, yeah, dude.
Like pick the exact score.
Yeah.
Put a $1 bet on it and just make 100,000.
Make $1 million. UNLV at Boise State. This is at Albertson Stadium in Boise. This is also Friday night. This is for a playoff spot. Now that Tulane lost last week, we talked about it. The winner of this game will be going to the college football playoff. Boise State is a 4-point favorite in this one. I'm going full chaos. I think UNLV wins this one. They could have won it the first time. I think they're going to find a way to box up Genty enough to win this football game.
Okay. I am going Boise State. I'm going Boise State because it is supposed to be raining and snowing and like 30 degrees during the game, which really lends to a running game, which really tends to Boise State.
And Boise State has that.
I just did the exact thing that I said people are doing in the playoffs and not paying attention to the weather. You make very valid points.
That's why in our pick'em I put the locations as well. I was like, I'm gonna put the locations for everybody for these games.
Now
think about it. You've got your 2 picks behind Eli.
I'm sticking with it.
2, if they go
Friday night, it's supposed to be cold, but it's not supposed to be rainy or snowy.
Oh, is it Friday night? I thought it was Saturday.
Friday night.
Friday. But the weather changes.
Go Rebels! Let's go on that gross, ugly fucking football field. I hate watching Boise State football games.
It's so bad.
I hate it.
I don't think I'm gonna watch that game. It's just gross on the TV.
I will not, because Tulane Army is on at the same time, and I would much rather watch that. Tulane Army and the American Athletic Championship. Tulane's a 5-point favorite. This is going to be a fun football game, I think. Tulane coming off that loss really kind of crushed their hopes of the playoffs, which is a bummer. That said, they're a 5-point favorite. I'm picking Tulane in this one. I just think they're more well-rounded. But that Army triple option is an animal.
Yeah. I am also going Tulane. I think they get a bounce back here. I think that last week was a disappointment. I think that they want to prove that they're good enough. So I think they're gonna try to put the pedal to the metal here.
I'm taking the Black Knights because I picked Army every week. And I've only been wrong once. So,
and it was the time that you knew you were wrong.
Yes, that I knew that I was going to lose that one. I'm taking this one because it's for the championship. They still have a regular season game next weekend, and so yeah, it's got to be Army. And honestly, I've been playing an offline dynasty with them. That triple option, it's stupid. Like,
dude, I can't run it. I've tried. I can't do it.
It's so much fun. Hard. Now you have to counter all the other teams with double mug on the other side of the ball so that you can, stop them, because you're gonna give up some fumbles. Like you're just gonna do it.
100%.
Or you're not gonna tap A at the right time and your QB is gonna keep it. And you're just like, okay, well, I guess yeah, that's a sack. That's fun. FCS East had me on the ropes the first half. In my first game.
Yikes. All right, let's get into the Saturday slate. This is going to be your Power 4 and a couple extras. Starts with the Big 12 Championship, Iowa State and Arizona State in Arlington. Arizona State's a 2-point favorite in this one. I want to pick Arizona State in this. I really do. I just think Iowa State is slightly better all around. Not very confident in this pick, so I might change it, because now that I'm even looking at stats, they're not even playing very good football right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, Iowa State has not been playing well the last couple weeks.
And Arizona State has been, so I'm going to switch this. I'm picking Arizona State.
All right. I want you to realize what you just did. At best now, you can only tie me.
That's fine.
Overall.
That's fine.
I'm going to
switch one of my other ones.
Yeah. I'm going with Arizona State. They're rolling.
Yeah, Dilly's rolling.
They're rolling, and Iowa State is not rolling right now. They're playing fine. They're not playing great. They're playing much better at the beginning of the season than they are now. But yeah, Arizona State's playing their best football of the season right now. So fight Billy.
The MAC championship at Ford Field in Detroit. You got Ohio University going against Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio is a 1.5-point favorite. I'm picking Miami of Ohio. Don't really have any notes. It's just what I'm picking.
It's just what you're picking. Yeah, I'm going Miami of Ohio. I think they let me just double check this real quick. I think they've looked pretty good all season, right? Like, I don't know, they've had some bad losses.
Struggled against Ball State.
Ooh, they lost to Toledo. That's pretty bad. But yeah, not great.
You know what? I'm switching. I'm going Ohio.
Okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm still going Miami, Ohio, but it's not gonna be my best bet anymore. I'm going ASU as my best bet. But I'm going Miami, Ohio to win the game.
All right. Let's go.
Let's
go UNLV and Ohio. It would be weird if you picked Ohio to beat the spread. Cameron's picking a 1-point game.
It's a push.
Georgia against Texas in Atlanta. It's ridiculous. This game's in Atlanta still. Texas is a 2.5-point favorite. I think Texas gets revenge in this one. Georgia's just not playing good football right now, other than that Tennessee game. I think Texas is going to come out with something to prove in this one, and they're going to get it done.
Heard.
Marshall at Louisiana in the Sun Belt Championship. Go Raging Cajuns.
Look here, my friend. There ain't no way I'm picking against them Raging Cajuns. I never pick against them. Go Raging Cajuns.
Yeah, you can't. You can't pick against them.
This is the best name in college football.
Chanticleer's pretty great.
Chanticleers are great.
Raging
Cajuns is better.
Agreed.
Oof, I don't like that.
I'm just
Raging
Chanticleers is a fancy chicken. Raging Cajun is a mad Cajun man or woman. That's better. That's better. That's a lot more fun for us over some fancy rooster.
Good stuff. Clemson.
I could kill a Chanticleer. I don't know if I could kill a Raging Cajun.
Fair.
Whenever I hear Chanticleer, I just think of the movie.
Chanticleer.
He's the rooster that sang Elvis songs. He saved all the other chickens from the
flood. What are you talking about?
What movie?
Dude. Oh, okay. I don't know
He doesn't know the name of the movie.
It's called Rockadoodle. It's from 1991. I was 2 when it came out. All right.
Oh my god!
I probably haven't seen this movie in 30 years.
I have no fucking idea what
Rockadoodle. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay. I recognize that movie.
Yeah.
What a weird pull.
That's just every time I think about it, I just think about Rooster singing Elvis songs in that white jacket. Like, just never made any sense to me, but I dig it. He saves all the farm animals.
Christopher Plummer's in it.
Glenn Campbell was the Chanticleer.
Wow. All right.
Weird pull.
Man, Glenn Campbell had some hair.
Yeah. That was a weird pull.
That's a very weird pull, Cameron.
I think 20% on Rotten Tomatoes is a little unjustified, okay? You know, this movie came out before the internet existed. Like, let's,
did not think Cameron is going to be pulling Rockadoodle into our podcast today.
Never once.
A movie I haven't thought about since maybe seeing it for the first. I don't even remember it. I know I've seen it.
I've never seen it. I guarantee you, I've never seen it.
Yeah, dude, that movie was on repeat at our house.
Wow,
wore out that VHS. Tell you what.
Not even the Aristocats, huh? The Toulouse. No,
I was not a big Aristocats guy.
Oh, fuck you, man.
I didn't say they were bad. I just
Abraham DeLacy. Giuseppe Casey.
We owned the entire library. I just didn't like. That was not a pull for me if I was going towards a classic.
But Rockadoodle was. You fucking swine.
Okay, first of all, not a Disney movie. And second of all, I just liked the movie better. All right, I was not a Cats person. I didn't like Cats when I was a kid. Like a movie about Cats.
But you like
never like
fucking Chanticleer singing Elvis.
Dude, we had chickens. Like it was relatable. I just imagine my chickens and like the barn cat they were all just singing down there.
I can't with you right now.
Let's get on to the ACC championship that features no roosters or anything of the sort.
None of this had roosters. That's the weird part.
That is weird. Clemson facing SMU because Miami choked it away. SMU's a 2.5-point favorite. I'm taking SMU, man. I'm going for it.
Me too.
Yep.
Smooth's just better.
Death by Smooth.
Yep. And then we round out the conference championship slate with the Big Ten championship with super producer Cameron in attendance.
Yes, sir.
Penn State and Oregon at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Oregon's a 3.5-point favorite. I'm taking the Ducks, and I'm taking the Ducks by double digits.
Same. Go ahead, Cameron.
I'm taking the Ducks. But that's an easy alternate spread for me of 10.
Yeah. I saw a friend of the show, Jeffrey Gottlieb, last weekend.
He doesn't listen to the show. He's an acquaintance of the show.
He's an acquaintance of the show. Fair. I saw him, and he might be famous on the show because he's the reason Oregon has lost national championships. He's been to both of them, and Oregon's lost both. And so he looked at me and goes, "If Oregon makes a championship, are you going to go?" I was like, I don't want your curse, man. He's like, "See, here's the problem is if I go and they lose, it's my fault. If I don't go and they win, it was my fault." He's like, "I can't." He's like, "I lose either way. They either have to lose when I'm at home or win when I'm there. And I don't want to risk it going all the way there and then having them lose again. And it's my fault."
Yeah, he's 0-2 on championship games he's attended.
He's not allowed to risk it.
No, they have to win before he gets a chance to go back.
If he doesn't go and they win a championship, it'll be the funniest thing ever.
Here's the thing. If he doesn't go and they win, I'm good with him going the next time they go.
Yeah, they got one then.
Well, because we'll all be going.
If he somehow says that he's going to this game, I will fly immediately to Orlando and chain his ass to the ground so he can't leave. That is not happening.
No,
he's not going to that game.
They're going on a cruise next year. He doesn't have national championship money right now.
That's good.
We're good. He's locked himself out.
That's good because he's not going. That is not allowed. Getting ahead of ourselves. Let's one game at a time here.
I know. I had to tell you about that conversation I had with him.
Yeah, I feel good about this one. The matchup's good. Penn State's offense struggles against defenses that are good, and Oregon's defense is exceptional.
Drew Aller, when he's under pressure, is abysmal. And Oregon's pass rush is
insane.
The best.
Yeah. The one, if you were to ask me if I was concerned about anything in this game, it's Tyler Warren. That guy is a matchup nightmare.
Yeah.
And he will cause problems and he will get yards. I just don't see he has 6 touchdowns this year. I just don't see him being enough of a difference maker to break this the other way.
Yeah.
And Oregon's just too good on offense. There's just too many weapons and they're healthy. I feel good about it. And the uniforms that they're fucking wearing.
Bro.
Whew.
I think they're kind of weird looking.
I don't care what you think.
Here's the thing. I've had that before. I'm like, those look kind of weird. And then they get on the field. I'm like, fuck yeah.
That helmet is fucking sick.
I like the pieces individually. I love that black jersey. I love the helmet. I don't love them together right now. I don't know what it is. It looks good to me.
Oh, it looks so.
Maybe
I'm
looking
looking at it right now. Oh, it looks so good. I love it. I get where you're coming from. It's an abnormal combo.
Yeah.
That green is sexy.
I love that.
I kind of thought we were going to go green head to toe.
Yeah.
Would you like it, Eli? Would you like it better if they had the green pants on?
Probably.
Green, black, green.
Yeah, something with a little more cohesiveness, I think.
Oh, but with the black face mask and the gray it just looks
I get it.
Looks phenomenal.
The standout color for just the helmet has always been especially dark jersey, dark pants for any team has always been just kind of that's some teams don't execute it. I love the helmet so much that it being an accent, but yeah, I get it.
I love it.
I don't hate it. I think it's going to look better on the field.
I'm all about it. I freaking love it.
Well, it's like the
I just won't have people being like, "Oh my god, they're not wearing any green or yellow."
It's like the eggshell jerseys. They looked way better on the field.
Oh my God,
that is 100% true.
They looked so good in person and on the field.
Yep, that is very true. That helmet, oh man, just like by itself, that helmet is elite.
Yep.
Europe.
And usually, like, if you had told me like a gray O on the green helmet, like that matte green helmet was going to be my favorite helmet of the year, I would have said you're nuts. But this is my favorite helmet of the year.
It's pretty sick. I like the throwback ones, but
the throwback yellow one.
Yeah, the throwback yellow one.
Yeah,
but with the modern O.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I dig that too. But that matte green is just sexy.
That's so good. I mean, my favorite Oregon uniforms of all time is the Florida State Rose Bowl. That green.
Yeah, with the matte green.
Yeah, just put head to toe that matte green. Ooh. Yeah. All time great.
The lime
Actually,
jelly beans.
No, it's those like full throwbacks that year.
The 2014 throwbacks were elite.
I've loved the chrome helmets too, like the Rose Bowl one.
Yeah,
from the Wisconsin game.
As long as they're not wearing white pants at home, like that, we got to stop that.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah,
especially when your colors are so good.
Yeah,
just don't do it. Colorado did it again this last week. Not a fan. Just don't do it.
I was gonna give them shit because they had the 3 stripe, but in the center stripe they still had the flat irons. They're like, all right, that's kind of cool. Like,
yeah, they have that all year.
Dude, that shoulder pad, like the game one
shoulder pad,
that shoulder pad with just the flat irons on it is so sick. I wouldn't ever not have that on. Like
the fact that they wore that throwback one with the three stripes 3 times, is shocking to me.
Yeah,
and I get it. The flat irons are still in the middle stripe, but
they're super subtle.
It's so muted.
Yeah,
when they first came out in those black unis,
dude, that's why I bought it. I love that jersey.
So sick.
It's very sick.
This look is good though. I'm here for it.
You staring at Jeffrey Bossa right now?
I am.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt that he is just an absolute unit.
And that, dude, the reflection is the coolest. Like, I loved how they got the reflection off the granite wall. Like,
everything about that photo
is crushing
phenomenal.
it. And then out by the X's and O's,
I want that helmet though. My God, it's so,
dude.
I want it.
I want it. Me waiting for the postseason auctions when they go up online, so that I can't buy it because it's $2,500.
Yeah.
When I can't afford it, but
ain't happening. All right. Who wants the buzzer beater?
Not me. I did it last week.
I'll do it.
All right. Listener, we love you. Viewer, we love you. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you spending your time with us. If we're on your Spotify Wrapped, put it on your story, tag us. We'll, I don't know, be like, woo. Maybe we'll shout you out on the show.
Also, is that the only thing you listen to on Spotify? Like,
well, don't they do your top podcast? Oh, no, they didn't this year.
They didn't.
No.
Fucking Spotify. They laid off like 1,500 employees, and so Spotify Wrapped sucked. Anyways, listener, viewer, we love you. I lost my spot. Thank you to Zeta June for letting us use your music as our outro. It's pretty dope. And thank you for super producer Cameron for making our show look pretty and giving us graphics. Say goodbye, Cameron.
Goodbye, Cameron.
Oh my God. Jamie, hit us with your buzzer beater.
Buzzer beater. For this week, for the 3rd time in a row, Dubs down, baby. Go
Deuces.
Fire.